Law number 1. Never outshine the master. Now we all know that Kobe Bryant and Shaq formed one of the most dominant duos of all time, performing the three-peat, winning 3 NBA championships in a row. However, they had different attitudes, different mentalities, and among other things, their personalities clashed as there was so many headlines and so much division over whose team it was. And was it Kobe's team? Was it Shaq's team? They wouldn't see eye to eye on work ethic, among other things.
Answer this. Who would Shaq be if he had your work ethic?
He'd be the greatest of all time.
I mean, it got so bad that they've even thrown hands.
Confronting him. You didn't care.
Oh, I didn't care. Man,
from
listen,
day one,
bro.
From day one.
I knew for sure Rick Fox, my teammates, they all thought I was absolutely crazy the day me and Shaq got in a fist fight.
They were talented enough to win 3 titles together, so you really can't say too much, but unfortunately that relationship was just not meant to last. Now let's focus on another big man Kobe had a relationship with. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak about Pau Gasol. See, Pau Gasol knew it was Kobe's team. He didn't try to sit there and say it was his team. He accepted the fact that he was not going to be the main man in the spotlight, instead relishing his role and simply trying to work with Kobe and get better. And I'm not trying to say that Shaq didn't try to work together with Kobe or Shaq didn't try to improve. I'm not saying that at all. However, I'm saying Pau simply accepted the fact that it was Kobe's team, and there's nothing wrong with that, which is what allowed them to flourish and work together as long as they did and win titles. That being said, in the original book, Louis XIV had executed the man who threw grand parties and festivals in his honor because he felt insecure from the attention he had received, when in reality the reason King Louis XIV had him killed was because the parties that were thrown in his honor made him feel jealous and insecure and weak, so he therefore killed the man and banished the position the man was trying to win over his affection to get. Similar to that situation, Shaq and Kobe could not work out their differences is because there was no clear master as they clashed over who is the true leader. Now allow me to elaborate on that further for you. So in the book, the very first law of power is to never outshine the master. If you're reading the book, it specifically says always make those above you feel superior. In your desire to please and impress them, do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite by inspiring fear and insecurity. Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain the heights of power. Now I'm going to be honest with you folks, it has been very hard for me to get started on this series, as the first law of power is the hardest to find an example from with sports. However, unlike the situations in the book, Kobe and Shaq clashed over who was the master, who was the alpha. Was it Kobe's team? Was it Shaq's team? However, when Pau Gasol came along, he accepted right away that it was not his team, reaped the benefits, and has his title rings to show for it. Remember, at one point in time, Kobe and Shaq were one of the most dominant forces, one of the most powerful duos this league has ever seen, and they had 3 titles back to back. And something that may seem so silly from the outside ultimately led to the downfall of them continuing to play together. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, there is one more player I want to speak about as we move forward. But it's not who you might think. It's actually someone who's played with him. Kyrie Irving.
I would describe LeBron's reaction as he shares a hug with Kyrie. to young God, a.k.a. Kyrie Irving, a.k.a. Uncle Drew, Kyrie, whatever y'all want to call him. He thought I was blowing smoke up his ass early in the season when I said he can be the best point guard in our league and also be an MVP in our league.
Now you might be wondering just how a situation like this can go so wrong. Like, how do things get that bad between them that we end up reaching this
I was
point?
the best option on every team I played for, down the stretch. This is the first time in my career where I could look down and be like, that motherfucker can make that shot too.
Now remember, this is the duo that helped defeat the 73-win Golden State Warrior dynasty. Now from the outside looking in, you'd expect this duo to be on top of the world right now. You'd expect them to play out their careers together. However, behind the scenes, things were very different than what you might expect. See, Kyrie himself felt as if he was the master, as if it was his team. He came in as a rookie. You can argue that he changed the culture. He has all the accolades and talent to show for it. However, things completely changed when LeBron showed up, and on a personal level, you can imagine how that might have affected Kyrie. For example, there were many people, even in the media, trying to push this whole almost son and father type of relationship between them, and you can see Kyrie absolutely despised that. Look at the look in his face when a reporter actually asked that to his face.
LeBron a great father after the Chicago game. What?
Look at his reaction to someone talking about LeBron being a great father. For a second, he thought the reporter was calling him his son.
Great father. Oh, a great father. Oh, I thought he's. Oh, my bad. I interpreted that completely wrong. I thought you said he was a great father to him. I was like, what?
Calling him a great father. So what type of parental role has he played for you and your teammates?
Oh, okay. So you. Parental role. Honestly, I'm. He's. I don't know how to really answer that question. He's been a great leader for us. I have one father. That's my dad, Frederick Irving.
So as you can see, there is some trouble in paradise. Kyrie definitely didn't appreciate people treating him as if he should be looking up to LeBron. And he didn't enjoy all the preferential treatment LeBron was getting. See, Kyrie thought of himself as the master, as the leader, before LeBron even showed up. So he definitely did not like taking such a secondary role, and he more did not like people perceiving it as that as well. You can tell from interviews that the relationship had become so soured between them that Kyrie doesn't even like to say anything positive.
Do more for one team than LeBron does? Okay,
is he better than Michael Jordan? Speaking of history.
No.
LeBron's ego and perception of himself definitely changed after winning the title in Cleveland.
Right there made me the greatest player of all time.
For
That's
so
what
many
I felt.
reasons.
To be fair, he's justified in feeling that way. And Kyrie absolutely could not stand it. He wanted to be the man. He wanted to be the alpha. He wanted to be the dog, to lead his own team, not to be in the spotlight, or should I say in the shadow of LeBron's spotlight. So things obviously didn't go very well, and they did not win the title the next year, and they already were at odds with each other, but Kyrie could not wait to get out of there. And look at how many times LeBron refers to him as a kid in this press conference.
Whatever I could do to help the kid out, be the best player he can be. The only thing I'm upset about is that he took a lot of the DNA and the blueprints now to Boston. That's the only thing I'm upset about, really. Other than that, I mean, I wish the kid great health, and the kid wanted to do what was best for his, I guess, for his career.
But Kyrie, after switching, learned the hard way that it's not nearly as easy to reach the NBA Finals without LeBron, and was partially humbled as he even felt the need to apologize.
To call Bron, and tell him, like, I apologize for being that young player that wanted to everything at his fingertips, and I wanted everything to be at, my threshold. I wanted to be the guy that led us to championship. I wanted to be the leader. I wanted to be all that, and the responsibility of being the best player in the world and leading a team. is something that's not meant for many people. And Bron was one of those guys that came to Cleveland and tried to really show us.
If he would have simply followed the first law of power and stayed under LeBron's shadow, perhaps his legacy could live on to have multiple rings to show for it.